Good morning, everybody. Clock just turned over on 6:30 here on your Monday. This is News Source Today. I'm Joel Porter. A Cebu Youth Detention Supervisor at Lane County Cebu Juvenile Justice Center faces charges of heroin possession and using government equipment to facilitate drug transactions. Police say 2 people are dead after a crash on Highway 20 near Eddyville. The crash happened around 11:30 on Sunday morning. Nike is cutting ties with Vikings running back Adrian Peterson. Peterson's child abuse case is currently being reviewed by the NFL. First time since the midterm elections, President Obama will meet with top congressional leaders from both parties. Our search for missing boy Kyron Horman is planned for June. Family and friends held a fundraiser in Beaverton over the weekend to help raise money for that search. Welcome back. It's been a busy time for anybody who uses a Microsoft product, which according to some research is at least half of most everybody in the country. Adam Levine may have to start using that payphone a little more often because his cell phone may be compromised. During Monday night's Top 10 all the time now at 6:15, and the restaurant business is a cutthroat world where hungry customers with short attention spans have endless choices of sizzling entrees, but sometimes the name of the eatery alone can be enough to attract a few curious diners. In this week's All in a Day's Drive, we'll take you to 3 restaurants that sound frightening but serve up something unique. It's lunchtime in downtown Eugene, and Ben Hitchcock's killer crew is busy at work, flipping, frying, and wrapping.
And we only do one thing, so we figured we should do it right.
Killer Burger on Broadway has been open for less than 2 weeks.
Order up!
But the Portland-based bar and grill is already making a name for itself.
Oh man, you gotta try the peanut butter pickle bacon burger. It's kind of our signature burger.
Meanwhile, if you're pedaling through the Whitaker neighborhood, Taco Vor is a south-of-the-border spot on Blair Boulevard, named for owner Steve Mertz's own love of tacos.
I can eat tacos all day long, and a friend and I were just sitting there laughing that we were taco whores, and that was really where the name came from.
A funny name with serious appeal. From carne asada to fresh squeezed limes, this is an authentic taste with a few odd ingredients thrown in.
We find that we have a pretty adventurous customer base that really want to try new things that are a little bit outside of their comfort zone.
Speaking of places with an odd-sounding name, Toxic Wings and Fries on River Road may sound downright lethal. But the place has 16 flavors to choose from, ranging in heat from teriyaki all the way to toxic. These, by the way, are called The Burn. They're the second hottest.
Yeah, there's definitely variety. I'd say that they have just as much non-spicy flavors like lemon pepper.
The name was enticing, and we're big wing fans, and they look great.
Just a few places that cater to the hungry as well as the bold. And you can chow down and see for yourself. They're all in a day's drive.
Joel Porter heads to Salem for a tour of Oregon's historic capital. Joel, tell us all about it.
Kat and Ty, if you've never been inside the Capitol building before, and it was a first for me, you may be surprised at just how open and accessible the building is. And if you already know your way around the building, there are plenty of historical markers that you may have overlooked. During the week of the election, there's very little traffic in Salem, which makes the state capitol anything but crowded.
We have a very, very open Capitol building. You can go in and you can arrange to meet with your state senator. The takeaway is the more people that visit, I think you do realize that you do have an entrance into the political process.
All right, we'll do it on 3.
Volunteer Chuck Bradish will be busy come February, but in the off-season, he's happy to lead small or big groups around the building, letting them sit in the governor's chair, pointing out some historic figures, and explaining how the voting works.
You got to be here on the floor to vote. Because every place you walk, there's an emblem, a symbol, or whatever like that, so it's nice to point things out to them.
Fall is a quiet time inside the Capitol, but on a dry day, the grounds outside the Capitol provide a walking history tour. These are some of the original columns that were salvaged after the first Capitol building burned down in 1935.
You really have free roam of the building. I mean, if you want to check out any of the offices, most of us are always happy to tell stories of sessions past or talk about some of the history that's happened here.
So it's a very unique building. It's a gorgeous building, not really ostentatious, but it's Oregon.
A rich piece of Oregon history that you don't have to be politically minded to appreciate. And you can see it all in a day's drive. The Capitol Rotunda is currently closed to tours for the winter, but it will open up again in June. Students who are at least 12 years old can learn more about government by signing up to be an honorary page during the upcoming legislature. That's when a student is assigned to work with the legislator at the Capitol for a day during the session. You can find out more information on how to become a page on our KMTR site. That's right. We did see quite a mixture outside today, starting off with sunshine. Then those deep, dark clouds rolled on in. That's what we're going to be expecting for tonight. We could see around a half-inch more rain later on tonight. Roseburg dipping down to about 44 degrees with, you guessed it, more showers. We're not done by a long shot talking about that rain and showers. Wednesday is looking even rougher. We'll talk about that in the full forecast. Sunglasses for 5 minutes, umbrella for about 10 minutes. Yeah, back and forth, really. It was crazy. And we're about to see probably a little more of that tomorrow. We got more rain and showers on the way, so it's something to plan for if you call that planning. We'll talk about that in the full forecast up next. Kind of taking a break. We're expecting a bit more to roll on in later today. Let's talk about the coast, though, starting out 51 degrees as you step outside this morning. These are the watering days for the lawn and the garden and all that. Next week, they get the sunshine returns.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, it's rainy.
Reach into my pocket. Well, let's see what I got here. Oh, look at that. There's sunshine. Yeah. Dust it off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very nice. Then we're glad you're back.
But we love it. We love it.
You're
We're
welcome,
excited.
everybody.
As long as you're here, Joel, it'll hold steady.
As long as I don't go anywhere, it's basically guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like to use 100%, but that's 100%. It's totally going to happen. And she showed me that you don't need many ingredients to make one dynamite batch of salsa.
Then I roast my jalapenos.
Patricia Garcia Rogers hasn't quite quit her day job, but these days she's putting a little more of her energy into a family recipe.
And then I have some cilantro as well. I always in the back of my head was, I got to make that salsa because Oregon doesn't have the salsa that I'm used to in the Imperial Valley. Patricia is now marketing her own line of homemade salsa and enchilada sauce, simply known as Salsa Garcia. I noticed that in the market there's a lot of pico de gallo. Everything is chunky, and I personally like it to be smooth. I put everything in the blender so you get a smooth salsa with good spice, enough spice, and a lot of flavor. Authentic salsa verde uses tomatillos, not tomatoes. But if you do have an abundance of green tomatoes left over, there's no sense letting them go to waste. To make your own salsa verde, you can start by blanching and peeling about 7 cups of tomatoes. You can then blend them smoothly in a few seconds in any household blender. Then chop up 2 cups of onion. I like to use scallions because they're not as strong as regular onion. In a pot, heat up your mixture while adding 5 to 10 chopped peppers, 2 cloves of minced garlic, and a ½ cup of cilantro. For seasoning, you can use a teaspoon each of salt and black pepper, some cumin, and oregano. For your acid, instead of vinegar, add a ½ cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. From there, ladle your batch into your sterilized jars, screw on your lids and rings, and set them in your hot water bath for about 20 minutes. When the time's up, take them out, make sure the lids pop, and you'll have some tasty green salsa to enjoy throughout the winter. If you'd like to try some Salsa Garcia, Patricia will have a vendor booth set up at the Mackenzie Cider and Craft Brew Festival, which opens tomorrow evening at Willamette Lane Center. If you're hungry, she's also making tamales. If you'd like to try making your own salsa verde, you can find that recipe on our KMTR page.